This movie, man. I watched it twice and I still don't think I could tell you what happened in it.
I kind of had to slow it down and think about what they're saying, but I don't think I've seen a supporting actor who's the MacGuffin not do as much as this guy. He exists in the movie.
Buttercup from The Princess Bride is more interesting than this guy, and she's the MacGuffin
right.
of her movie.
Yeah, I would agree. This guy, eventually, like I think an hour or so in, you get some exposition of what we've been seeing, but it was still so sparse.
I think the most distracting thing for me with this guy is that he looks so much like Scott Stapp, the lead singer of Creed.
Oh.
Every time I watch this movie, I'm always like, is that Scott Stapp? No, that's a totally different actor who just happens to look like the lead singer of Creed.
Just got the 90s, 2000s slicked back blonde hair. It's very grunge.
Middle part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, thank goodness for the third act exposition. Because otherwise I would be pretty disappointed. Yes.
I feel like it clears up a little bit of the beginning, but if we rate this on a first watch basis, it will be a lot lower than second watch, but then you have to really commit to be like, oh, I'm curious what the story is, because you don't come away satisfied with the story, but at least you understand it on the second time a little bit. True.
And this was one of those movies where, it lived in home media. That's where it made a lot of its money. That's where a lot of these 90s and 2000s movies made their money. They would do okay in box office and then gangbusters on television syndication or DVD sales. And I know I've seen this movie a lot more on television than I ever saw intentionally. Welcome to Potato Chip Pictures, the movie franchise review podcast currently looking at the Underworld franchise. My name is B. Sammy Davis.
Hello, I'm Justin.
And today we are looking at 2003's Underworld, directed by Lynn Wiseman, written by Danny McBride. It had a budget of $22 million and came home with nearly $96 million. So very good for a brand new franchise. Just
first out of the gate.
Yeah. Yep. And made more than quadruple its budget. So good on it in that regard. It's got Kate Beckinsale as probably her best character, like at least her most iconic.
Yeah, I can't tell you a single other movie that. Oh wait, I think she's in Serendipity. That's the only other one that I know she is in.
And she's great in. I can't think of anything specifically that I have seen her in, but I know that she's a very talented actress. But this was her big AAA, I'm the star action franchise. And, she's probably the best part of the whole thing.
I mean, I'd argue that Davy Jones and or Michael Sheen are competitors because I feel like they sell the most I am the leader of my clan type feeling. And for good reason. They're phenomenal actors.
Yeah, I was just about to say Michael Sheen. It always shocks me to remember that is who is in this movie because he's such a big deal actor these days. And he's just a werewolf who's kind of in the movie. I guess he's the big bad.
Right, he's supposed to be the big bad, but it all kind of just rotates around houses that are, what's the word? They betrayed themselves and just, I think it all hinges on the part where Kate Beckinsale says, we're not supposed to dig through our history. And oh, okay. So a red flag. Okay.
Yep. Oh man, that was, I mean, and of course it was. This is a trope whenever you have the people at the top saying, no, you shouldn't understand history, or we need to change history because it makes us look bad. Then those are the bad guys. Like, if your history makes you look bad, you learn from it. You don't bury it and hide it. But on the other hand, that's like shorthand to the audience to be like, ooh, the good guys are really the bad guys. Like,
everybody in this sucks.
Yeah.
Nobody in this is good guys. Well,
then briefly, you also mentioned Bill Nighy is in this movie, and he's when you brought him up, I remembered he's my favorite part of this movie. It's not Kate Beckinsale. Yeah. It's Bill Nighy. He's the best part of this movie.
The only person that plays a vampire that is convincingly dangerous. I feel like the first fight that they get into, that's not him. But vampire versus werewolf, the vampire just gets body slammed really fast and just like squeaks as he's going down. It's like, oh, well, I guess you overestimated your ability to fight a werewolf.
I'll completely agree with you there. In the overall view, like the 10,000 foot view of this movie, and this movie alone, because I might have seen the second one, but I have not seen anything else beyond that.
And there's like 5.
Yes.
I did not know. I think I knew there was a sequel, and then it's like, oh, there's, okay.
It keeps going. I completely forgot what I was talking about.
You might have seen the sequel, Bill Nighy, 10,000 foot view.
10,000 foot view. Thank you. At least in this movie, I don't know anything about the sequels. Vampires are kind of wimps. Like they can get beaten hand to hand by a lichen, aka a werewolf. They have inferior arms to the werewolves. Yeah, just everything about them, they seem weak. And then Bill Nighy comes in and he's the old man who can destroy everything. I keep forgetting that we, see the death of another elder, Amelia.
Oh yeah.
Because she's a nobody character, but she's supposed to be an elder. Like, she's the third in the most powerful vampires.
So even if they didn't have Lucian still, they just several good ambushes away from tearing apart the vampire hierarchy.
Yeah, like the werewolves had a solid plan, even without their whole mythology that they were chasing. Even without them chasing their magic, they pretty much took out the entire top brass of the vampires. Well, let's get into it specifically. I gotta say, we start off with the French horns and the black trench coats, and I always think of this movie as Matrix with vampires.
It's decent. I mean, it doesn't follow much of the what do you call it? Betrayal or the plot of Matrix, but
Oh, yeah.
100% with the black costume.
Yeah. Purely style, purely, approach and decoration and destruction of the environments. But otherwise, we are in, quote unquote, the real world. It's just the real world with vampires and lichen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the voiceover, I think only happens maybe one other time, maybe at the end also, but
Yeah, I think it's at the very end.
they kind of need it to set up a little bit. I can't imagine really understanding much unless they added in more exposition without it, with people actually talking about death dealers and 600 years. But I think even the narration just sets it up to get confused, because Victor's asleep for forever. He's supposed to be waking up. Marcus is asleep. But the Lucian incident happened 100 years ago or something like this. I
think it was longer than that, because it was the last time Victor was in charge. And Victor is 2 down the chain, because Marcus is next to be woken
and it's
up.
like, maybe we need that information. I
Maybe.
don't know that we do. They're just vampires and werewolves. But
Yeah, someone poisoned my mind.
oh no.
They were like, anytime a movie needs an opening narration, it's because they didn't have like good enough writers to be able to bring the audience into the world. And sometimes I'm like, no, that's not true, because of Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and I love those ones. But then in this one, I kind of agree. I'm kind of like, oh yeah, like, you didn't trust the audience to believe you when you brought us into this world. Like, I would have been fine with them just starting at the top of the towers, watching the thugs stalking some dude. I don't need any explanation. I don't need to know that they are lichen. I don't need to know that the people who are watching them are vampires. I think they could have done a lot more by just trusting the audience to pick it up as they went. But whatever. They told us their whole hierarchy and their corporate structure.
Yeah. I think it could be a nice surprise if you had nothing except the what's happening, but then they don't say a word for a long time. They just fight. So I feel like that might have been a little bit too much to ask of a movie. We say nothing.
I think the first time the balding vampire shows his fangs, we would have been like, okay, so those are like maybe vampires, maybe they're like some monster type thing. Oh, he's melting from some kind of light bullet. And then for sure, the first time a lichen turns into a werewolf, like, there is no misunderstanding what they did. And that is a lot of movie to trust the audience with. But I think they could have done it. I think they could have gotten away with it.
Well, the rest of it doesn't really shine. So, like,
you don't like the gratuitous gun battle between these ancient enemies in a modern day subway where civilians get hit?
I think the gun battles work with things like The Matrix, and they work here fine. I think they're second or maybe even third on the list of not directly in the movie, but the things that are set up and produced for the movie. Stunts. I feel like there's a decent amount of those with the exploding casings and everything. But like later on, there's a car flip that's entirely unnecessary. But you see like Michael Sheen's face, and you see all the, what do you call it, cutouts that they do around his hair to try and make it look nice. And it's not bad. Second to that is all of the viscera and gore. I feel like that's part of where this shines. It's, yes, werewolves and vampires, but man, they commit with the stage makeup and everything. And the CGI of the bullets coming out of Lucian in this little elevator scene. Yeah. It still works for me. Like, I had it up on like a tablet and it doesn't look bad.
And maybe it's because you were on a tablet. I was on a pretty big TV screen, and it did look a little bit like original Blade blood to me, like slightly off color. But I will say the very first werewolf transformation, that worked for me.
It's creatures of the dark transforming in the dark, so it's not like I need to see them perfectly.
But that one's a fairly well lit, the one inside the subway. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a lot of detail from this transformation.
Enough detail. When they're on the train later with Amelia, it's a little bit rough. It's like, those look like the Uruk-hai costumes, which isn't awful, but the computer transformations aren't bad, I don't think.
I will agree with you there, especially the Amelia train. It kind of feels like they had large models that they were just shifting left and right with a strobe light going. And
could be.
It just doesn't look as good as the rest of the movie. And frankly, I don't think any of the werewolves themselves really look good at all. I'm more impressed with the transformations. That's where I'm usually like, this movie shines.
They have a really close-up transformation when two werewolves are like fighting at the end of that gun battle. And it's not awful. I mean, they turn back into humans, and it's average werewolf fare for 2003.
Okay. The only thing we skipped over post gun battle, but still part of that intro to the chase, I really like the silver throwing stars that Celine uses against someone. That's cool. But yeah, then we immediately go to that werewolf fight scene with the transformation. And I kind of wish we had seen these two put their clothes on, because I didn't get it until my second viewing that they were the cops for the rest of the
movie. Nope. Same here. Like, I knew the cops were in on something, but then they don't transform into werewolves after this
And you
point.
never see one of them has long hair, so you have no way of knowing. But yeah, those two are the cops for the rest of the movie who are chasing after Michael. So yeah, it's a cool transformation to go from werewolf into naked man, but they're so different looking naked than with clothes on that I just would have liked them to put the clothes on so I would know that we didn't just look at two naked men for no reason.
They exist, and now, I did not realize they were the cops, because the cops kind of show up in several places.
It's the same too. They are on a mission. They're just very bad at that mission, but they're very committed to it.
They are in on the plot, which the plot so far is we're watching Michael get tailed by werewolves. Werewolves fight vampires. Vampires kind of get beat up. And she realizes that it sounds like there's a lot of werewolves out here when they're supposed to be nearly extinct. So that becomes her main concern, which...
Most of the movie, to this movie's credit, she stays on task for pretty much the entire runtime.
The exception being, I feel like, some of the conversations with Michael just... I feel like they must have cut some out or just not written it very convincingly for me, because they talk so jilted, and then it cuts in with other scenes, and then we still don't even hear if this woman in a picture we see for 2 seconds is or was Michael's wife, and if she is dead, or if she is the woman in the hospital bed. And how in the world did I find out that he was a surgeon intern from his roommate. Like, whenever he gets done getting bitten, it's very, what do you call it?
Circuitous?
Yeah, that word.
Taking a circular route.
It's just so, granted, it feels mostly unimportant to the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, she's bleeding out and he saves her life because he's a medical student, but it really doesn't feel like his, other than being the MacGuffin, he's not important, and that can be okay. I just feel like then make him less vital.
Yeah,
because he becomes the Deus Ex Machina at the end. Like,
yeah, he's
okay,
so important by the end, but he doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I agree with you completely. I get the impression, and this, I might be speaking out of school, but I do get the impression that there was a script that existed, and then while they were filming it, someone on set was like, wouldn't it be cooler if they did or said this? And then later on in filming, they're like, oh, that's the reason we didn't do that. Well, now we're stuck with it. So let's try to film around it. And like, I don't know. There's just times when the thing that pops into my head the most is the number 2 girl. I forget her name, but she's chasing Victor and Victor does not care about her.
She's chasing...
She's the blonde girl who's in the mansion, and she's just
Craven.
so... Craven, that's his name.
Victor is Bill Nighy.
Yeah, so she's into Craven.
And her name is Erica.
She, at one point, Craven needs to tell his dark secret that we, the audience, have found out. He needs to share it with someone. So he turns to Erica and he's like, can I tell you a secret? Meet me in my room so I can tell you this pivotal secret that only you can be trusted with. And he gets there and she immediately starts sleeping with him. And by the time they're done porking, someone shows up and is like, oh no, you have to go here. It's an emergency. So Erica never heard. Like,
yeah. And then he like skips out in the car and still hasn't told her anything. Yeah. I mean, we'll get to that, but Craven is maybe my least favorite main-ish character. And on second viewing, it still is not good that he may be acting that way because he has the secret. It's still just not convincing. It feels like I wish it would have been more convincing. Yeah.
I completely agree, because the first time we meet him is when she shows up to be like, I found all these lichen. We gotta go get them. And he comes up and he's like, that's impossible. And I'm like, if this is an ancient war and you guys hate each other, and wouldn't the guy in charge be like, let's go?
Right. Yeah. Maybe not as bad as C in No Time to Die, or whichever one that was from James Bond, but very close, because all of he has like this feigned interest in Kate Beckinsale's character to be his queen, and it's like, well, I don't feel like queen necessarily means anything to the audience right now, that other than, of course, there's a man trying to subjugate her or something, like, but it doesn't matter, and the queen doesn't mean anything to us. And yeah,
on top of that, like, they start talking about how there's going to be this merger of these clans. Why were the clans separated if there is one of these 3 top vampires in charge, why would there ever be a time when the clans are separated? And on top of that, if they are, why isn't the third clan coming in and joining? So there's just so many of these things that they tried to set up, but then they lead to more questions to me. But whatever, we're not going to get any time with them. We got to hear our weird science.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, because she goes back, she gets disbelieved, and I think she starts researching, but we hear that Craven was the last person to see Lucian alive, and he has proof that Lucian is dead, but we feel like, oh, well, seems like he's up to something. But I don't think the movie says his name for a while. At least I feel like maybe not until she says, or she reads the book and sees the little medallion.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm trying to remember, because I know that in between those scenes we get the lichen scientist who tells us all about the blood and how there needs to be a pure source and they need Michael. Yeah. It's just more of that exposition to tell us what is happening. But yeah, then when we come back, she's still after Michael. She does not suspect Craven yet.
Yeah.
Because she sneaks off to go to Michael's apartment.
Oh, yeah. And he's not there because he's getting cleaned up by his roommate that, like, we see in 2 scenes. Yeah. I feel like he's recognizable from something else, but
I'm trying to remember who he is because he's a pretty big deal actor. It was Wentworth Miller who was in
he's the jailbreak guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Prison Break. There we
Prison
go.
Break.
I never watched that, but
I watched the first half of the first season and I liked it a lot, and then I just stopped watching it. But
yeah,
I don't know if I would want to keep coming back to the same crew getting into prison to break out again. Like, I don't know why it got as many seasons as it got, but good for him.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. But yeah, in like the 2 scenes that we get with the jailbreak or prison break guy, the first one, the cops show up. Second one, he gets the cops, so I guess we're still at the hospital the whole time.
Yeah, because he's sending like a voicemail to while Celine's there, but then he brings the cop werewolves over to Michael, which objectively Michael was kind of like freaking out
because
and was like,
Michael hasn't been bitten yet. I'm sitting here thinking, like, why would he even go see the doctor? Because he hasn't been bitten yet.
Well, I don't know. I might have gotten us out of sync because there's a bit of jumping around in it.
Well, at the apartment, you're right. Celine breaks in. There's the voicemail because the cops showed up at the hospital. And Michael walks in, even though he knows that someone has broken into his apartment. And then
he's like an elevator.
Yeah.
And gets bitten in an elevator. Yeah.
Well, in the further stupid the whole thing, Celine like grabs him by the neck and holds him up on the wall, and she's like, "Why are they chasing you?" Yeah. And he's like, "I don't know. Why are you trying to kill me?" Like, and that's when the lichen show up, and yeah, elevator, Lucian, he bites, she sees the necklace. That's gonna start the mystery. So,
and he gets a vial of blood from Michael.
Yeah.
Which, like, do you need Michael anymore if you have the blood? Like,
from what I understand, so I'm going to jump way to the end, and I think I picked up on this. The original plan was to steal Michael's blood and Amelia's blood, and both of them were going to go inside of Lucian. But then Lucian, at the end, before getting Amelia's blood, he gets shot. And so he pivots and makes the plan. Okay, then let's give vampire blood to Michael. Does that make sense? Like I think that's what they were going for. Like Michael was meat. He was not meant to survive. It was only because he got away and all the plot happened around him that he becomes important.
Yeah, I'd agree. The timeline might be a little off, but I think, he just needed his blood and her blood, and then he gets betrayed by Craven because they're just, both trying to get their power and something like that. And, like, you turned your back on Craven.
It's in his name.
Yeah. So the betrayal, maybe inevitable, but yeah, that's far ahead. I think there's a lot of gunfights.
There's a lot of movie
cool.
in between.
Yeah, because she fights the Lycans and gets Michael out, and then I kind of don't. Oh, she passes out. He saves her, etc.
You mentioned, Lucian getting the bullets out.
Yeah.
I want to point out the bullets going in. Like, I thought that was so brutal. It happens very quickly, but it's very visceral. It earns this movie its R rating. Like, you see him get shot in the neck, like in the head. It is pretty intense. And then the only beef that I have with them running away to the car and him getting the bullets out is the music they chose. It feels like it's building to something, and it never builds to it. It just stops when they're driving the car again. Like,
crashes and they have to get out of there. I kind of feel like I lost focus when that first happened the first watch through, because the second round, like, oh, they crashed and he saved her. Their romantic interest doesn't lead up to, I don't think it even earns the lamest kiss on screen when they're chatting at the interrogation place, and he's just told her kind of about his wife that passed away, and if he'd known what he knew now, he could have saved her. And she's telling him about Victor saving her out of her family, and it's just not bonding enough, I feel like, because maybe he just seems so soft-spoken about it all that, I mean, maybe it was hip to be emotional dudes.
It was in the early aughts. That really was it. Being distant and aloof, that was the sexiest thing in the world. But I'm gonna pull the reins back because we don't get to that amount of love. Yes, you mentioned the car crash, you mentioned the water, and you mentioned that Michael saved Celine.
Oh,
and
they
go back to the house. They go back to the manor. And like, Erica is obsessed with this human.
Yeah.
Until she discovers that he's been bitten.
And Craven's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Craven's just jealous all over the place and gross and weird. But that is what starts the investigation. Which I think is an interesting turn for the movie. Like, of course we knew Craven was like the bad guy. It's in his name. He's awful. But to start to get that mystery to be like, wait a minute, why would Craven work with the werewolves? What's going on? Like, and then we get the assassination of Amelia, where it doesn't look particularly great. At
some point, she wakes up Victor. I'm like, my memory of it is so convoluted. Maybe it's because of the color palette, because I don't know where anything's happening. Like, did that happen now? Or did
Visual
it happen?
distinctiveness. Yes, it does happen around here. You are correct. Because this was the part where I jumped online to say, these vampires have reflections.
No.
Because it's critical to
in
the
the
plot
bathroom.
that she can
Yeah.
speak into a mirror so that Victor will see through her eyes as she speaks. And I'm just like,
And
why
writing
do
Victor
vampires
on the
have
mirror
yeah.
before she smears it out
Yes.
without the context that he eventually gives when he gets her memories was so weird.
Yes.
Very jarring. Like, what is she doing? This feels like, I don't know, angsty teen writing something and smearing it out. And it's like, okay.
It really does. Oh my gosh, it feels so angsty. And maybe that's why it did so well.
Possible.
But it's an interesting idea. I have to give this movie credit where credit is due. And the concept that for 2 centuries, these elder vampires are just dried out husks of meat.
Yeah.
And the first blood that they will consume will not only wake them up, but they're going to inherit the memories of that blood. Like, that's a very cool idea.
Yeah.
And then I don't think they proceeded to really do it well, because when Bill Nighy wakes up, he just complains about how confused he is and how he just doesn't understand anything. And
Yeah. And where you say it's an idea, I think it even has some pieces that aren't explained, which isn't bad, but I didn't quite notice until the second watch through that the sarcophagus where they're stored comes out of the floor. And you see like the guy's feet coming out first and then his chin, and it's like, oh, they're upside down. This is like, oh, it's not a big deal, because then she turns him and I missed it. And then it's like, oh, there's a little bit of lore that nobody points out, and it feels accurate to a vampire, even if it's just, a silly classical nod.
And they've got so many of these nods to the mythology. That's why it bugs me so much that they can't pay attention to things like reflections in a mirror.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I do enjoy that he is so wizened, and eventually, with all of his blood transfusions going on, he gets back to his normal state, and he looks just vampiric, but every stage is different, and it just feels so alive. I think that's my shining example of enjoying the vampire part of this movie. Like, Craven sucks as a vampire.
I was just about to say, as much as I hate Craven, he makes these scenes even better because he's so fearful of Victor. And I'm just like, man, between Bill Nighy just living it up and Craven being a sycophant, I'm in the world for most of these scenes.
Yeah.
So,
and that's where it feels different than the death dealing and the skulking around trying to find information. Like, it's a vampire that's been awakened early and a guy that has a secret from him. Like, this feels like a nice complete scene of just 2 characters getting information and doing exposition that that helps the audience. So aside from that, I don't love much else.
well, there's like times when he rubs at his head and I get these Voldemort vibes from it, where, like, I don't know, there's just something so serpentine. I just love how Bill Nighy played Victor. It's so good.
Yeah. Really, really good.
We got to run away again from, the vampires. We've had shockingly good vampire scenes. I've got to say, really enjoyable for the last chunk of movie. Michael ran away. Celine has to go find him.
Where does she find him?
I'm trying to remember. I think this might be when he went to the hospital, but I cannot remember for the life of me.
Yeah, probably.
She gets him and gets him to the safe house where she locks him up.
Yeah.
And then eventually the cops are going to get him as well. So I think that he goes to the hospital and she saves him. This movie is so hard to follow.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like the Matrix being in the same sort of colors and stuff, at least it feels not logical, but just proceeds at steps, and you learn stuff, and that makes it stick with you. Like, we learn that at the safe house they are involved with synthetic blood, and that's how they make their money. And that doesn't really consolidate what I know of what's happened. Yeah. So she leaves him here and then has to come back and get him because the Lycans get here. But I don't know what she does in the meantime.
Well, she finds... so this is part of that confusion. At some point, she's able to capture the scientist werewolf because she brings him to Victor. Yeah. And Victor is like, yeah, of course Lucian is still alive. And on top of that, we are chasing a myth. We are chasing the original Corvin DNA or whatever it is, Corvinus virus.
Yeah.
So that, that's the big exposition for the movie. But I'm just sitting here thinking, how did she get Michael back? Because Michael ran away long before she ran away. And then how did she capture the doctor? So I'm missing a chunk of movie in my head.
Let's go
that
with
I can't remember.
She gets him to the safe house, gets him there because he's bitten. He'll turn into a werewolf. They bond over whatever they're saying, and they have a really lame kiss. It's such a bad kiss. Like, she leaves him there and goes back to the Coven to talk to Victor and warn about Craven. On the way, so right then is when Amelia gets ambushed, and she gets...
I think you're right.
She gets house arrested.
Yeah.
And has to get out.
So she has to break out now.
She's stuck in a room, and
the exact same room that Michael was locked in.
Erica,
because they both jump out the same window.
Erica goes and turns off the lights so she can get out. Yes. And I'm like, oh, the darkness, the vampire's weakness. Vampires can never see in the dark. That's their one thing. It killed me. I was like, I mean, maybe could have done something else, but okay, fine. So that's when she gets back to Michael, but they capture him.
And that's when the werewolves show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then she comes back with her proof. That's when we get the exposition about the virus. I have to say, as far as exposition goes, I kind of liked it. This was a bit of lore that they dropped where I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. So you've got this original Hungarian prince or king who gets a version of the Black Death. Yeah. That doesn't kill him, but instead makes him immortal. And then he proceeds to have children, two of whom become, one of whom becomes Michael, the first vampire, and the other becomes the first werewolf. Like, they just drop that as lore on the side, and I'm like, this is dope.
The way that Bill Nighy says it as well, I was kind of confused for a second because it sounded like he said one werewolf, one lichen, and one human. And I was like, wait, you said 2 people. How are you saying 3 people? Like, so.
Yeah. It was just a good... There's so many things that are made better because Bill Nighy is in the scene.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Well, I think that all sets it up to be like, okay, the scientist guy kind of lets out that Craven is communicating with Lucian, and Craven disappears out of the place and kind of has to go on the run.
So he's going to show up with Lucian. At some point, Michael's going to get captured by the cops again. That's the part I'm trying to remember.
Well, so at the safe house, she unlocks him, but she fights him off. He jumped out the window, and the cops are down there. He's turning into a werewolf in the car, and they
That's right,
drug him.
Because she jumps down, and she's too late.
And we next see him chained up where the werewolves had the other guy.
I gotta point out that the dumbest thing in this mostly dumb movie is when Michael is turning into a lichen in the car.
Yeah.
And the driver turns up the music. Like, so dumb.
You have the drug to make this not happen, and you're going to wait until he's almost there to then drug him.
Just turn it up, make it louder.
Yeah. I feel like the plot could be interesting because it's all a case of our history says that Lucian was just bad, and he tells Michael that we were actually enslaved by the vampires and fell in love with Victor's daughter, and that's why he killed her, and that's why we have this feud. And it's like, okay.
And on top of that, Victor also killed Celine's family.
Yeah.
Like, Victor's a monster.
So it is like, oh, nobody is good in this one. Like, maybe the werewolves have a little more sympathy because they were enslaved, but this is also two sides of the blood feud just telling their stories as they want to. I
think you just hit the nail on the head. We are told as an audience that we are supposed to believe the memories of Lucian because they're from his blood. They're his actual memories, man. But, we in the present know that memory is fickle, and that when you remember something, you're not remembering the original event, but rather the last time you remembered it. And any changes that you made to that memory get further changed with the new time that you recalled it. So when you just said that he's just getting Lucian's perspective, suddenly it washed over me how much more interesting this movie could have been if they had at least continued to make it vague, to be like, well, yeah, that's just how you remember it.
Yeah.
What if Victor has a completely different memory of the event? But that's not the movie we get to live with. The movie we live with is that Lucian is the good guy. He's just been the bad guy the whole time for no reason.
We're trying to make this super blood thing happen to destroy the vampires, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't get the impression that it's to destroy the vampires. I get the impression that it's to create something new, and that something new could destroy the vampires, but it could also destroy the lichen.
Well, I mean, he does fight both of them at the end, right?
Well, he definitely fights
the
vampires, and then he just kind of glares at the lichen, and the werewolves back off.
Oh.
So they don't actually fight, they just kind of hide away from him.
Interesting. So essentially, I lost her name. Celine is told by Victor to kill Michael because he's an abomination. If he turns into this whatever thing, you have to kill him and then we'll be cool. So she gets a little bit of conflict there at the end, but also I haven't been sold on the romance like several James Bond movies. It just doesn't feel like she has quite so much motivation to not to kill him, other than, well, you don't have to kill this person, but...
Yeah. I agree. I don't buy the romance. And honestly, in my head, I don't buy the conflict that Celine is trying to portray having when she's told to go kill Michael. She looks like she's got doubt. And I'm like, why do you have doubt? You don't know this guy. You've never really talked to him. You spoke to him one time and trauma dumped with each other. Yeah. You don't know each other. But yeah, we get the famous betrayal. And I have to say, this is another thing where having a really good actor can really elevate a movie. And Michael Sheen as Lucian, having his very scathing argument with Craven, it works for me. Yeah. Especially when he says something like, "Oh, did you think you weren't gonna have to bleed during this coup?" I was like, "Oh, that's so good."
That's really good. Yeah. I think Bill Nighy's scenes, Lucian's scenes. Oh, we did skip way back when he was chasing them after the elevator. There's like a practical car driving by, and then he or stuntman is also running by super fast, but it's all practical. Yeah. Oh, I loved that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Couldn't skip that.
Yeah. And frankly, that's one of those things where in mythology, any one of these vampires or Lycans should be able to outrun a car. So at the scene when the cops get Michael and drive away, Celine should have been able to catch up to them on foot. Yeah. But we only get a hint of that with Lucian.
Yeah. Let's see. We are to the final showdown, essentially, right?
Yeah. So I haven't really talked about him. Kind of the number 2 werewolf in the movie. He is a named character, and I can't remember his name. I think it's Ray's, maybe. But he's the black guy who's got this really deep but kind of weird voice. And I am so fascinated by him as a character. He's the one we see change twice in the movie. We see his werewolf model most of everybody's werewolf models. But he's got such a weird voice. Like every time he speaks, it's just so weird.
It's very, like, is that a stage voice he's doing, or is that how he speaks normally?
And that's the thing. Part of me is like, this has to be an effect and like a filter. And then another part of me is like, well, why can't it be his voice? Right. If I were a casting director and I had a bunch of burly dudes in front of me, and then I hear someone with a weird, very distinctive voice, and he fits the look, of course I'm going to go with that person. He'll stand out.
It's like Andre the Giant when he talks.
Exactly. So I genuinely don't know if that's his real voice or if it's a filtered voice, but I had to bring him up now because he's almost done in the movie.
If we're talking side characters that we enjoy, I went from Bill Nighy, Michael Sheen, and now can't forget Robbie G is Khan, who's the guy that's like the weapons dude. I just love him from Snatch, and in this one, I think he plays a good like confidant for the lead actress.
He's the Q type character for this movie, and I don't like the way he dies. I know they're killing off a bunch of characters by the finale, but I kind of wish they had kept him alive. I would have liked to have him for the rest of the franchise.
Well, I must have missed when he died. Oh no.
He's in a hallway. They start shooting in a dark room, and then a werewolf somehow just jumps up from the side of him and gets him.
I think
That's the other part that annoys me is like, how did this giant werewolf sneak up in a well-lit hallway? I guess they were just focused on the dark hallway they were shooting in.
But not the side roads.
Yep. Peripheral vision is gone for vampires.
But yeah, that takes us to the final fight where Michael eventually becomes a super vampire werewolf.
I don't know how Lucian got all the way to where Celine and Michael are trying to hide. They're trying to get away. Celine has decided she is going to turn traitor. She doesn't care that he will become a werewolf. She loves him, Dad.
I guess so.
She's going to be with him forever. They open a door and Craven is just there. So he shoots Michael a bunch of times. That's the drama. And the part that blows the mind is then somehow Lucian shows up and he's been like critically wounded and somehow he has crawled through all of these sewers to get to this room.
But he's there to make his final stamp.
Yep, he'll stab his arm blade into Craven and whisper to bite him. Bite him.
Well, because we gotta get the vampire showdown with Michael, which just makes it like this is not Michael's movie.
Yeah, this is the part that loses me the most.
Like, yes, he's the mega gonna be able to fight Victor, but Celine only gets to do like the killing blow, and maybe,
and it's a cheap shot. Yeah. Like she didn't even do a real fight. She had to sneak up on Victor.
Maybe she should have been developed more in like gadgets for fighting or something, but like it just feels odd because he's not my favorite by the time it all happens.
I hate the design of the hybrid. And then you brought it up. My biggest beef with the hybrid is that it's Michael. The guy who didn't matter for this whole movie suddenly becomes Superman. And he doesn't even become really Superman because he loses.
He doesn't know his powers.
Yeah, that's what it is. He just doesn't know them yet, man. But the fact that the godlike powers goes to the nobody character and not the star of the movie.
Yeah.
It would be like if we were watching The Matrix, they get Neo and then Morpheus becomes the chosen one.
Yeah.
But we continue to follow Neo for the whole movie. It's just strange that Michael becomes the one, as it were. And that doesn't work for me. I'm fine with Celine killing Victor. It's a cool, quick, samurai-style showdown.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know he's dead.
Very Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Slice. I do love that Victor gets to have a confrontation with a werewolf and just completely overpower him.
Oh,
because it's like, oh yeah, Victor is the vampire. He whips out a sword to stab him. But
like he already beat. So the first werewolf he comes in contact with, he beats him in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah,
and then finishes him with his sword.
So that part I enjoyed for his character being a little more fleshed out. As that's why Michael has to take him on, I guess. But
and I just hate that it's Michael who has to take him on. I get it.
It makes sense.
The story they wrote.
Yeah, it makes sense that she has motivation to be the one to kill him, but be the one to fight him.
Or prove to us that this hybrid is truly more powerful. But he can't do anything, and maybe it's because he hasn't had any blood. That's what both of these species need. They need mortal blood. I don't know. I'm over here trying to make justifications for something I hate in this movie.
Right.
I really don't like the character of Michael, and I hate that he becomes the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't think we have to say too much more because they beat him and they run off because the wiki says that vampires and werewolves now are after them. And it's like, really? Is that what happened?
We get our little final narration at the end to tell us that they're going to be on their own.
Sure.
Yeah. I have trouble with the werewolves are going to be hunting them because I'm like, why? They did what the werewolves wanted.
Right.
This was an absolute win for lycanthropy.
Yep. Oh, well, is there any... I'm trying to think of... Let me look through my notes if there's anything else. Because the high points are the viscera and blood and, I guess, gun effects. When she shoots a hole in the floor, that's really cool. And then the acting is starred by Bill and Michael and... and what's his name? Robbie? Yeah, Robbie. Aside from the main actress, but definitely not Scott Speedman as Michael Corbin.
I'm always going to call him Scott Stapp.
It's not their best work as an actor. And it may have been the script's fault because you don't have any reason to fight Victor as much as Kate Beckinsale did. So let her be the victor.
All right. Well, before you give it a number, let me tell the audience that on this show, we do ratings, not grades. The primary difference is where you find the average. In a grade, we don't want students to feel bad. So we say a 7 out of 10 is the average, but that's not the average. That's a 7 out of 10. We say a 5 out of 10 is the average. So it's neither good nor bad. And even when you're in that territory, something below the average or above the average doesn't necessarily say it's great. We're just kind of putting it on a number line as best we can. So now that you've given us parts of your review, why don't you finish it off for us?
Finish it off. First watch, this is below a 5. Second watch, I think it's just hits a 5. It's not a strong 5. It is a weak 5. Mostly because you have the very good classical actors, I'd say. But you have just a unsatisfying conclusion to your plot. I think the Kate Beckinsale character had a lot to do, yes, but she doesn't get to join in the fight nearly as much as I think her as the main character should have. But yeah, I am pretty set on this being just a 5 because it could have been worse. And first viewing, it's not great. It has not great exposition for informing me of things, and then even just after watching it 2 times, I can't tell you where things happen in what order.
Yes.
So
see the earlier parts of this podcast where we struggled to figure out where we were.
What is happening? So I am just a 5. It improved upon second viewing because I really wanted to see what they were trying to do with this original story. Like, it feels like an attempt, and I grant them that effort to say, sure, there's a house of vampires, and there was a betrayal way long back, and we're trying to make something new happen for the werewolves that were betrayed. Cool. How does that work out? Well, it kind of missteps in a couple places.
I couldn't agree with you more. I would say the things that I like the most are Bill Nighy and Michael Sheen. I think The two of them really elevate this movie. I like Kate Beckinsale. I kind of wish she had more of a character in this movie, but as far as a stoic action hero
Sure.
for the early aughts, she fits right in there. She's she's a AAA action hero with the rest of them. And
I am so happy that reading the other movie cast lists, I think she's in the last one too. And it's like, so maybe she gets better at whatever her character is. This is like James Bond all over again.
I mean, she owns this character, and I'm glad that she held it for as long as she did, because, she does a great job. And in this one, she probably does a good job, but it's still good enough to leave an impression. And then the rest of the movie, I really don't like that much. And I think this is a movie where I kind of rated it better because I have a lot of interest in vampires and werewolves as mythologies, as works of fiction. And I'm fine with changing the rules and all that stuff. It's just that there are certain things that I find so interesting. And when those things are not in there, I take it personally, and I shouldn't. It doesn't matter. It's part of fiction. But I just can't get over the fact that you can see their reflections in the mirrors. Like, that just drives me insane. I'm at a 4. That's where I'm at. I think this movie is watchable. I think it's fun, but I do have to turn my brain off to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, I can agree there.
Well, that, hold on. I got to change the colors now. I always put our reviews in white text on a white background so that I can't see it. But that gives us the obvious show average of a 4.5 out of 10, just slightly below the middle. And, it's not a great movie. It's not even a good movie, but I would still watch it again. That's where I think I would fall.
I would watch the next ones. That's what I'll say. I don't know after watching it 2 times that I would come back to this one specifically. But
I would need to have some time, and I'd probably have to be watching it with someone who's never seen it before. But but I would go back.
Well, we will go forward too.
Yes. And I've probably seen Underworld Evolution, but I don't remember much of it. And if I saw any of Rise of the Lycans, that would have been on television. And then, don't know anything about the last 2.
Yeah. We'll see. Because one's like a prequel. I'm like, oh, well,
the
Bill
third
Nighy's back
one is
for that.
the prequel. Yeah. So that one I'm kind of excited for because, like you said, Bill Nighy returns. I want to see more Victor. Who knows? Maybe we'll actually get to see some justification for Amelia.
Maybe.
But in the next one, it should be Marcus. We got to see the werewolf blood dripping into his mouth at the end of this last movie. So we'll get to see who this original vampire was.
If and we can check the continuity, because apparently the blood was from the werewolf scientist guy.
Mm-hmm,
so it's like, oh, well, what does he know?
Yeah. Are those memories going to transfer? I'm glad you brought it up, because that is something I'm going to hold a lot more critical to this next movie. If they completely ignore the fact that memories are transferred and it was a werewolf's memories that got transferred, that's probably going to be a full point deduction that I'm just telling you right now. That might happen.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Awesome.
All right. Well, if you want to support this show, give us a rating, review, or comment on whatever platform you are listening on. If you want to share the episodes, that's a really great way to help this show grow. We're also producing shorts on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And finally, if you want to send us an email and tell us how we are wrong because Underworld is the greatest movie that was ever made, then do that by sending us an email at potatochippicturespod@gmail.com. gmail.com. And next week it's going to be Underworld Evolution. So until then, thank you guys so much for listening.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening.